gonna go ahead and turn this in for grade. You know, leave a comment. I'm gonna go ahead and turn this. I'm gonna go ahead and turn this engine here, this circus wagon, whatever, how you classify it. I'm gonna go ahead and turn it in for grade. You know, keeping in mind if they're running in reverse, it's a hit and miss. The flywheels have been reversed. The head's turned upside down to the fact that the exhaust comes out the top. Homemade carburetor at the bottom. Once you're running on cap fuel now, so go ahead and turn that in for grade. And we'll shut her down, crank her up tomorrow. I'm going to leave you with a question, something for y'all. Y'all take notice for this right here. A little something for your blank page in your book there. Oh yeah, look here, brand spanking new one. Them thing cost us $110, and they have real fast shipping, and that little thing is packed in a box, and it had enough packing in it. You could have easily footballed that box and it would have survived. I think that's a number 3 right there. The reason I call that to your attention, you may observe that it's not the one that was on this engine a couple of days ago, because I had to take it off here and put it on that engine down there that runs backwards. So I had to get another for this engine here to complete this project. I'll put a little polish on it. Dude on the internet here, Jay Miller, I believe is that guy's name. He's rebuilding a 6 horsepower Type M engine. Check him out. He's doing it the way he's supposed to, I think, up to now. Good job there, Jay. Yeah, cool, man. Good job. I like it the way you're doing it there, the way you're going about it. Kind of sensible. But the problem, my problem here at hand, remind me of it. The magneto's gone off of here again. And I still don't have that black spark plug wire. I'm not going to use that wire. It's got that red stripe in it. I'm not going to use that on this engine. I'm going to wait on some black wire, you know. I just put this up there for size. Question being, no apology for the aforementioned intro as to the subject, seriously, for once. The magneto that goes on this engine right here is a American Bosch, a FX1. Well, let's go over and look at it. You know, I don't even think I have to turn the lamps off. Maybe a couple right here. I can't reach that over there. Now, let's see if we got a spark down there. Y'all see that spark plug making it's a big long spark plug wire goes down in there. I'm going to turn that magneto and we'll see if we got a spark there. Well, this is the magneto that goes on that engine that came with it when I've had that engine a year almost going on it. And that's what I brought the whole video about. I've got a magnet right here at hand that I've had going on a year and I've not used it yet, but I still plan on using it, and I'm grateful to have it. But this American Bosch on the bench here, I'm going to turn it and see if we got a spark. Right in there, as that would be in the engine. Can y'all see it good now? You know, should I turn out the lamp or what? But it makes a spark every time I turn that. It's quite blue also. And, well, that gap is about, that's about 30 thousandths, I'd say. I probably should check with something. Feeler gauge, I'm sure. Okay, here's 32. See what we got. Okay, at 32, you know, it went in there, but it's really tight. So I'm going to say that's 31.5 thousandths on that gap. And it's here on the, see, you can actually hear, you can hear the spark. It's quite robust. But I put it on the engine and it won't spark. Has no spark once I get it on the engine turning the flywheels. The question is well, question number one is the engine, does it need to be turned faster? Now think about this before you go commenting offhand. Does it need to be going faster? Because I think the timing was right. I'm pretty sure on that. And so I've not remagnetized it yet. It's as it come, engine just cleaned up real good. So you know what's the care for a Magneto that has a spark on the bench and won't spark on the engine? I'll leave a comment down there, and I'll show you something else right now before we go to something. I got something. I ordered something on the internet. This thing right here, and this thing right here. I tell you what, that's almost a work of art right there. I got that from Flywheel Supply, and you talk about some good machining now. I give them credit. Zach. Man, you and your crew right there, whoever made this, ever have come about, this is a good item right here. You know what I mean? That thread fits so good right there. And my compliments to your machine that made this. I would really like to tour that place and see. You know, I would be interested in a tour of his machine shop. But anyways, I done got it, and I'm going to fix it to this engine right here. This engine, when it's completed, this won't work on this engine. And that one right there is to replace, to bring you to what I'm talking about, is these greasers right here. This is the original one, and this is really a good one. You know what I mean? It's stamped metal, and this is machined. They're different. But there's absolutely nothing wrong with this one right here. It's A grade too. The threads may be a little bit longer on the original one. They don't need to be or nothing. I'm just saying that's a good item. So I'm gonna fix it to this engine, but it's gonna run backwards when I fire this engine up. It's gonna be a reverse running engine. So you have to grease it before you start the engine so that you can turn this greaser in order to grease the engine. But I done got this tap in there, and it goes this way. So to clean them threads up right there. That's another thing about them threads right there. Oh, that's a beautiful fit right there. Boy, that's a good thread. One different. It was going into, and it was still easy enough to turn by hand. So how fortunate to get a good thread in a flywheel. And that's the reason that to have this tool, this tap, it's a left hand, and to I'll have to clean that up before I put it up. To go in here. Okay, let's see if I've spoke too quick. Oh, look at that. I started that with one hand. That's pretty good. And then I'll tighten that up. Yeah, that's pretty cool. And then you turn it, normally when the engine's running, you hold this right here and it screws itself in every so often. But it won't work, it'll screw it off this way. But anyways, it's a good item right there. Costs a lot, but you know, you got to have one. So, okay. We still on that blank page that y'all got in your book there. Keep it open for a couple of bit more, and we'll you can write something in there. And the next thing to write in there is this thing right here. Y'all see that? It's copper tubing fitting into a grease fitting right there. You got to tighten it all up. You put your grease gun right here. I'm not ready to grease this just yet, but you grease these crankshafts. And I bring this to the attention at this present time that the aforementioned J. Miller that's rebuilding that. It's a 6 horsepower M, I think. Oh, they're heavy. I know, man. He would be advised to make himself one of these things right here at the length, go all the way in there and bottom out as this is on this 1.5. I think it goes into the 3 also for that length right there. But what you do, you fix this to your grease gun, and then you poke this all the way down yonder to the crankshaft foe. And you start pumping your grease here, and the hydraulics of the displacement of the area in there it'll push us, each stroke it'll push us out a little bit, and it'll fill up the void behind it. And by the time you get it down here, you have filled that whole inside there. You filled that up with grease. You know what I mean? Don't give it time to fill up that void as you pumping it out like this, not to end up with an air pocket in there. Just saying. Simple, and it works. So, well, cool. No. Yeah, that's some pretty good machining right there. And then you would fill up, you would fill up the area of that cap right there. And when you put that on there like that, some of it would squeeze out all the way around there enough to displace the air in there. And when you put that on there and you squeeze that up right like that right there, when that's very full of grease, that channel coming out into your crankshaft throw big end of the rod is where you're greasing at. Well, it was a brilliant idea when they were designing the thing. I'm just saying,